So here's the big question. How are entrepreneurs like us, who have been hustling and struggling to make it to success, who seem to make it one step forward only to fall two steps back, who are dedicated, determined, and driven, how do we finally break through and win? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brian Kelly, and this is the Mind, Body, Business Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind, Body, Business Show. We have an amazing guest expert lined up for you tonight. It is the one, the only, Allan Langer. He is going to be coming on here in just a few minutes. Oh, I can't wait. He's waiting in the green room, anxiously saying, Brian, pull me up. Let's go. And we will, I promise, very, very soon. The Mind, Body, Business Show. What is that all about? It is literally a show for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs. And I put this together with the express interest in helping you. And what does that mean? Well, I only interview successful entrepreneurs on this show, and they come from all over the world. Present guest is from the East Coast of the United States. I am on the West Coast. It doesn't matter the location. What matters is their mentality, their level of experience, their willingness to share how they became successful with you, so that all you need to do is take notes and model what they have done. Model is a fancy word for copy. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. Please, if you're doing that, stop. And I say that because I've done that. It's an ego thing. And once you go down that path of ego, which most people do by default, it just takes a lot longer to get through. So work on ego. I continually work on it, all but eradicated it. And because of that, everything goes much smoother and much faster. The Mind, Body, Business Show, it is about 3 pillars of success. I call them the 3 pillars of success because for over a decade, I started studying only successful people. I wanted to find out what the heck is it that makes them more successful than, say, someone like me. And what I found over that time, and these are people I either know personally, like I've worked with mentors, prominent speakers, entrepreneurs, very successful, and learned from them directly. I've also learned from other individuals by reading their books, some that are still alive and with us today, and others that are not. I learned from podcasts and all kinds of different mediums. But what I found were those 3 pillars. These 3 things just kept bubbling to the top. This commonality amongst very successful people. And those 3 things, you should be able to guess what they are by now. They are the name of this very show. Mind means mindset. To a person, they each had a very powerful, yet even more importantly, a very flexible mindset. Body is literally taking care of one's body. Each of these successful individuals took care of themselves. You know, it doesn't mean that they were like, if they were a man, they were a bodybuilder like Arnold Schwarzenegger in his heyday. And if they were a woman, they weren't a supermodel. It meant that they just took care of themselves. They exercised on a regular basis, and they ate and drank things that were good for them. And then business. Business is so multifaceted. Could go on forever about business by itself. Because what I found is these successful people had mastered the skill sets that are necessary to achieve success in their business. And skill sets include those things like sales, marketing. These are 2 right off the bat that my guest expert is an expert on. He's coming on very soon. There's team building, there's systematizing, there's leadership. I mean, I could go on and on and on, and I won't, I promise. The good news is, so here's the thing, to master any one thing, no matter what it happens to be, if it's basketball, it could take half a lifetime to master it, to be like a Michael Jordan, a Kobe Bryant. It takes a long time. The good news is you personally do not have to master every single one of the skill sets necessary to have a successful, thriving business. In fact, I will challenge anyone on this one. If you just mastered one skill set, then the rest can fall into place, and they will. And that one skill set I mentioned it just a moment ago. It was in that list. I hope you were listening. I hope you're taking notes. I will reveal it. It is the skill set of leadership. The moment you have mastered the skill set of leadership, now you have the skill that enables you to delegate to all of your team and other people that you acquire on your team that already have those skill sets that you have yet to master. And now you delegate to them. That is one fast track to success. I mean, that's a great, huge tip right off the bat. We're going to move on, though, because I can't wait to bring Allan Langer on. And because of that, one of the other great attributes I found in very successful people is they're also very avid and voracious readers of books. And with that, I like to segue into a little segment I affectionately call bookmarks. Here we go.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by reachyourpeaklibrary.com.
Yeah, reachyourpeaklibrary.com. And a quick note, please, for yourself, when resources are spoken, and there will be more, especially when Allan comes on, write them down instead of succumbing to that itch or that desire to click away and go check it out. Because what I found from speaking from stage from years is that if you don't pay attention, if the people in the audience aren't paying attention fully and they miss one golden nugget, it could be that one thing, just that one thing that could change their life forever, but they were off being distracted. I've seen people stand up and walk out to go to the restroom right in the middle of being up on stage when I know I'm about to hit that sweet spot. Because I know I'm the speaker. I know when it's coming. They don't. So now I let people know, please time your bathroom breaks. Do everything you can to stay in the room. And so that's what I implore of you today. I'm running the show, and I myself will be taking notes, writing notes on a pad. No kidding. So that's my advice to you off of my soapbox. Reachyourpeaklibrary.com. That is a website I literally had built with you in mind. And that is because I myself was not a voracious reader until about, it's going on 10 years ago. I was age 47. I'm approaching 57. And I started reading voraciously. And I began realizing, wow, this is everything everyone said it would be. And that is very life-changing in both business and in personal life. And so what you see on this site is a collection of books that I personally have read, completed them. And so that means not every book I've read since that age of 47 is in this list. And so what that means is you can have some assurance that these books will have some positive impact on you and your business and or personal life, because at least one other successful person has gotten it from that as well. So that's why I put that together. There's really no rhyme or reason. They're not alphabetic. They're not by author. They're just, I slapped them in there, had them slapped in there as I finished reading them. And then just pick the first one that jumps off the page, acquire. This is not a money-making website, by the way. Those buy here buttons, those all go straight to Amazon. I may make a few pennies. I don't even look, to be honest. And it's not here for money. It's for you to have a one-stop shop. Speaking of one-stop shop, we have that in the way of a particular gentleman who I would like to introduce to you right now. Let's bring him on. Here we go.
It's time for the Guest Expert Spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
And there he is, ladies and gentlemen. It is the one, the only, Mr. Allan Langer.
Thank you, Brian. It was getting hot in the green room back here. I'm glad I'm finally on stage.
I'll talk to the staff about the AC in that green room. We'll make that a little better. Fantastic.
How are you?
So, before we jump in, I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping, and then we're going to pick that beautiful brain of yours. Up above Allan's left shoulder, it's on the right if you're watching this live or recorded video, you see that nice red stamp looking thing. That is the Big Insider Secrets. They are the sponsor of this show. And by sponsor, what I mean is at the end of this show, everyone who's here live will have the opportunity to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resorts. And it's all compliments of my good buddy, Jason Nast, who is the head of the Big Insider Secrets. I get to give away one of these vacation stays every single show because of them. And I appreciate that. So stay on. You don't want to miss that. Listen to every word of Allan first and write notes, but you do want to stay on and be there for that prize. And we have a couple more, and then we're going to dig in. All right. If you're struggling with putting a live show together and it's becoming overwhelming and you want a lot of the processes done for you, while still enabling you to put on a high quality show and connect with great people like Allan Langer and grow your business all at the same time, then head on over to Carpet Bomb Marketing. Carpet Bomb Marketing. Saturate the marketplace with your message. And one of the key components that is contained in the Carpet Bomb Marketing system, one that you'll learn how to absolutely master, is the very service we use to stream our live shows right here and right now on the Mind Body Business Show. Over the course of over 9 years now, we have tried so many of these quote unquote television studio solutions for live streaming. And I'll tell you, StreamYard is the best of the best. It combines supreme ease of use along with unmatched functionality. You can start streaming high quality professional looking live shows right now for free. All you have to do is visit that link that's on the screen. Remember to write it down. Do not go looking on a different browser tab. Stay on the show. Write this down, ryp.im/stream live. One more time, real quick, ryp.im/stream live. That was for our podcast listeners. And now, the man of the hour. I am so happy that you are gracing this stage and you came on. You got to skip the line because we had a cancellation. I'm so glad because now we don't have to wait till months in the future. And I love sharing. Yeah, I love sharing amazing, brilliant people such as yourself. And so I'm almost done talking, Allan, I promise. But this part is all about you. So I'm actually happy. Even though I'm talking, at least it's about you. Allan Langer is a best-selling author, sales trainer, keynote speaker, podcast host, and marketing expert that has close to 3 decades experience in the world of sales, content marketing, consumer influence, and what he calls the art of inherent human behavior. This is juicy already. His book, The 7 Secrets to Selling More by Selling Less, is an award-winning bestseller on Amazon, and he has been featured and interviewed on over 100 podcasts and radio shows. Okay, 101 now. His company, the 7 Secrets Center for Sales and Marketing, helps businesses of all sizes as well as individual professionals increase their sales significantly by training his proven 7 Secrets sales approach. Ooh, lots of secrets going on here. All right. Officially, formally, Allan Langer, welcome to the Mind Body Business Show. So glad you're here, my friend.
Me too, Brian. This is going to be fun. Been looking forward to this.
Oh my, yes. And what I like to do. So again, the name of the show, obviously, Mind Body Business. I like to open it up with mindset, if you're okay with that. What I like to do. So you're very accomplished. You're very experienced. You're very successful. You train individuals and companies all over, and that's awesome. What I want to know, I like to peel away the curtain. Let's take a step back and say, well, in order to be successful, as anyone can attest to because of what you've been through, it takes quite an interesting kind of mindset to do so. What I mean by that is a very positive, powerful, flexible, because being an entrepreneur is not simple. A lot of people think it is. It's every day. It's there are things that are going to be setbacks that you're going to hit. There are going to be hurdles that you have to jump. Every single day there are challenges. So for you, Allan, I'm just curious, what is going on when you get up in the morning and you're getting ready, you're ready to take on the day? What is going on in that big, beautiful brain of yours at that moment that is going to power you through the day? And then, what goes on during the day that just keeps you churning, doing what you love to do?
Well, I think your mindset begins, like for me, I try to get my mindset ready for the morning the night before. Like I really try to organize what I'm doing. So when I wake up, I'm not thinking about, all right, what am I going to do today? What do I have to do? Let me look at my to-do list. You kind of get a little haphazard. Then you get your coffee, and before you know it, an hour has gone by, and now you're scrolling on your phone. We all do it. I like to get my stuff ready to go. And then when I wake up, I just know what I'm doing. And here's a little tip that right off the bat to write down. What was a game changer for me for my days, for my time management? I used to have a to-do list just like this. Everyone has a to-do list, a whole list of things, and you put your to-do list down for the week, and then you just start going through it. And you got you usually put the top 5 there that are most important, then you get to the bottom. But sometimes we skip those top 5, right? And we start at number 8 because that's the easier one to do. And then, but we don't have any, there's nothing behind, there's no impetus to do any of them except that they're sitting there. So I actually started putting each one of these on my calendar with a time to start and a time to finish.
Ooh.
So now I know that on Monday, I'm going to do numbers 3 and number 7. And I'm going to do number 3 from 10 to 11:30 and number 7 from 5 to 6. And what it does is, from a mindset standpoint, my day is successful because I got the 2 things done that I wanted to do. I didn't waste any extra time doing it, or I devote all of that hour and a half or whatever it is to the side. And then the next day I do the next 2 or 3 things. And by the end of the week, your to-do list is done and you're never stressed about it because it's on your calendar. So that's kind of how I set my mindset, where everything is in front of me. I try to be as organized as possible. And then obviously is the attitude. They say that the only thing you can control, you can't control anything else. You can only control how you react to it. And that's really what it is. If you react a certain way, you'll be successful.
Brother, that is a heck of a way to kick off the show. I am telling you right off the bat, we are dropping bombs of wisdom, knowledge bombs, smart bombs, because you're the first. I used to use this for fitness. I used to have a fitness business, and I would tell people the only way, or not the only way, but one great way to keep yourself accountable is to schedule in your workouts on your calendar. I have never heard anyone talk about putting their to-do list in a calendar. That is genius.
It was a game changer. Simplest thing in the world. It was a game changer for me. It really was.
Yeah, I mean, just having a to-do list, if you don't have one, will change a lot of things going forward. But what you just did, like the arduous ones, the ones you don't want to tackle, you put them in there. What is it? I mean, tell me, Allan, how gratifying is it to be able to check that sucker off when you finished it?
It's so gratifying. And here's the thing. It's like when you have a meeting like this on your calendar, you show up for it. So when you put that arduous task on your calendar, you just, all right, it's 11 o'clock. I wrote on my calendar, I'm doing this, and you do it. And it's not like, because if you don't have it there and you see it on your to-do list, you procrastinate. We all do it. It's very rare that there's that rare person that doesn't procrastinate, that does their to-do list, boom, 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 boom. But when it's on your calendar, something about that accountability, that it's written, it's right there. I got to do it. And really, I just get so much more done.
Yeah, and if you, I use Google Calendar, and if you mark it as busy, that's valuable time, because that time you're not taking a sales call or a strategy session or working with a client. So you're going to take it, it's like having more skin in the game. It's like you spent money that you need to finish that sucker. I love that. That is a great idea. It's so true. I was just looking at my to-do list today, and I said, I only finished half of what I set out to. I will, though, say I knew I put quite a bit on there that I was setting myself up for maybe failure, but because stuff happens during the day, and I just, how each person knows how they operate. But that's genius. That is awesome.
You want a second layer to that? A little sub layer?
Yes.
Another thing that really helped me was in my world, I have things to do. Like I have proposals to send out. I have training to do, and I also have a lot of interviews and content stuff. So instead of just having a bunch of, like when I do my podcast, instead of just having a bunch of days scheduled for my podcast, I said, okay, Tuesdays and Thursdays are my podcast day. Monday is a work day. Wednesdays and Fridays, I'll do interviews. When you actually start to silo your day into one thing, you're not all over the place anymore. And your mindset, go back to mindset, is okay, today is a podcast day. My mind is on my podcast all day. Tomorrow is a work day. My mind is on sending out proposals. Thursday is an interview day. My mind is about properly doing an interview. Rather than having an interview and then a work call and then writing a proposal all in the one day, you're just not as sharp as you would be when you keep your mind focused on one thing during that one day.
That's another great tip. And I'm so glad you brought up the whole thing about podcasts, about people, who does that? Very few will spend the time, doing the prep work for the show and be ready and prepared. And I was just asked this question the other day about what was one of the biggest mistakes I've seen, and I'm talking about live shows, but podcasts are the same. And that was just, I told them what I've seen over and over and over is simply lack of preparation.
I agree with you 100%.
Just the guest that comes on, but just that they haven't practiced, they haven't set a strategy, they haven't set, a sequence that's consistent in their podcast, or even something that can be switched out. It's just kind of willy-nilly, or they'll have a list of questions in front of them, and you can tell they have them because they'll jump right into it without any warning.
It's no conversation.
So my next question to Allan is, why is the sky blue? It would just, there's no setup. There's no time to give you that moment to ponder. And so it takes time. Not everybody's perfect out of the gate. Oh my God. How many times, your first podcast you were ever on, whether you host it or you were a guest, Allan, what kind of grade would you give yourself?
Oh, probably a 2. It was terrible.
Out of 10?
Yeah, 2 out of 10. I mean, I mean, because I'm a public speaker, at least that helped. But I still,
yep.
I was talking over the guest. I wasn't prepared as much. My background was terrible. Yeah, it's a learning curve. But if you're serious about it and you stick to it, you get better at it. And podcasting is really, it's a big part of my business and what I do.
Ooh, we're going to definitely circle back to that one, my man, because, the podcast, some people think it's a fairly new thing. It's actually a very old technology. In fact, I liken it to a car, an automobile. Do you remember, Allan? Not very many people will. And I don't know if you're old enough to remember this either, because I don't want to presume anything. But do you remember back in the day that the radios were like AM and FM, if you're lucky at FM, and they were push buttons and dials? Do you remember that?
Push buttons and dials, yep. Oh, yeah.
That is what podcasting is to today's technology. The cool thing, though, is it has been phenomenally responsible for businesses crushing it. And only somewhat recently have I been hearing about this surge. And it's like, this is one area all of you listening want to get into, whether you become a host, which I highly recommend you do that, or you become a guest. I recommend you do both, but at least be a guest. It's going to reap rewards if you follow certain strategies and you stay consistent. So I can't wait to talk, pick your brain a little more on that. My goodness. So when it comes to business, the best thing to do is to go for the quick kill, right? To get that big sale, make the big money. I'm being very facetious here, and pocket that cash and then run and never see your client again. Don't support them. And I'm totally kidding, but I wanted to find out from you, Allan, what has been your key? It takes time to develop a business, to develop systems, to develop something that works, and it takes constant revision, constant iteration, constant improvement. But for you, what has been, if you can coin one thing, the best thing for you that has helped you to achieve long-term success?
Clarity. The clarity in your business. What I see out there today are most businesses are not clear. Their message isn't clear. I'm a big proponent of the Donald Miller Story Brand workshops and how and his methodology. And what he taught me once, and I'll never forget it, and that's how I approach almost every business I talk to. Your marketing material in your website needs to say 3 things or answer these 3 questions within 8 seconds of someone visiting your website. Those questions are, what do you sell? How can I get it? And how's it going to make my life better? That has to be on the first page, and they have to read it within 5 to 8 seconds. If they don't answer, if those 3 questions aren't answered within the first 5 to 8 seconds, they're off to the next website with today's attention span. And I would say, without exaggeration, 85 to 90% of websites do not answer those questions. Some of them, we've all been on them. We go to a website and you get so frustrated because you don't know what they sell, or if you do know what they sell, you can't figure out how to buy it or how it's going to help your problem. But you think because you did a Google search, it might help your problem. And then you get so frustrated and you're scrolling, and then you're like, oh, let me find another one. You go back to Google search, and all of a sudden it's 20 minutes. And it's because the websites aren't giving the information to the consumer that they need to do. So for me, and I struggle with this at the beginning as well, clarifying my message. What am I actually doing? What do I do for my customer? When they look at my LinkedIn profile, when they look at my website, do they know instantly how I can help them? Do they know instantly how they can contact me? And ever since I did that and made sure that this is what I do, that's when my business started to take off.
That is phenomenal. I have actually experienced that so many times. I'm sure others have as well, where you go to a website, you know what you want, you find it, you go to the website and you're like, where the heck do I go to buy this?
Exactly. Right.
With some,
where's the button?
Like, and somewhere like in the coaching industry, even then I'm looking for, okay, you probably want to do a strategy session. I don't see it anywhere. Where do I do that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then you look everywhere and it's like, seriously, do I literally have to go down and click on the contact button, the fine print on the bottom, email you and say, how the heck do I work with you? It's like, you know, that should be a sign right there that maybe that's not the right organization to work with. Maybe not, but I look at those little things. Those things always add up or they subtract from the likelihood of my moving forward. So I'm glad you brought that up. Clarity. That's fantastic. So three things: what it is they sell, how you can get it, how you can go buy it, acquire it, and how is it going to make your life better?
How's it going to solve your problem?
See,
because it's all about the customer. Yeah.
Notes.
The other thing is your business is never about you. Like, here's a big mistake people make on LinkedIn. The LinkedIn in that real estate that they give you, which is not a lot, they have this wonderful little spot called the About section. What does everybody do? They talk about themselves. I don't care about you. I want to know how you can help me. So the About section is not about you. The About section is about your ideal customer or client. And the more times you can put you and your instead of me and my in your About section, the better you will be. The more people will contact you. It's just simple as that.
You know it's coming. You know.
Wait, is there a record number of bomb drops on this show?
You're the second person that's asked. The first one, the very first show I ever did that on, it was a young woman. I believe it was Dee Dee Wong. And she asked me, she goes, you should keep track and see who wins for the most. She was competitive because I was wearing that button out. And then I don't do it as often as I did in the past. But when it's warranted, I just press it because it works. Because it's so, oh my gosh, the things you're talking about, people, I hope they're taking notes. I've got a full page already. And the thing is, you just hit the nail on the head, Allan. And I've heard this many times, and others may have heard this many times, but have you done anything about it? Have you gone and changed your bio? Have you gone and changed your website? Have you actually taken action? We're here sitting, listening, and learning, but are you doing? And then take it another step after you've done it to really ingrain it deep. What would you do? You do what Allan does. You teach it.
Right.
Learn, do, teach. Those are the three keys to really solidifying it into our noggins because, you know, mine's pretty thick and it's hard for things to get in there. But once they're in, they can't get out either. All right. So knowing that entrepreneurship is super simple and it's perfect and you never make a mistake. And now that you're where you're at, you just can swing in a hammock on the beach with an umbrella drink and just watch the money keep pouring in on autopilot. As we all know, that's completely false. It doesn't work that way. It takes continual, nonstop drive, effort, work. Yep, I said that four-letter word, didn't I? So along the way, we do things that don't work. And I hope that people, a lot of you, all of you, are doing a lot of things that don't work. Because the faster you get past the things that don't work, the sooner you'll get to those that do. So make a lot of mistakes fast. That's my opinion. But for you, Allan, what would you say would be one of those things that caused a big setback that really comes to the front of your mind that you learned from? That's the most important part about any mistake or quote unquote failure is not that it happened, but what did you learn from it and what did you do to pivot from it? So what would that be for you if you could think of one?
Well, it's hard for me. It's hard to think of one. Like I was thinking about that question because some people have, I hit rock bottom. I was bankrupt. And then, that was that one thing because I invested in this. And so that's that one thing. For me, I genuinely think it was a cumulative effect of a lot of little mistakes and trying to fix it from there. But if I had to hone on one area that I realized that where I was making the biggest mistakes is when I would purchase a course or buy a book, I would finish most of them and I would never put it into practice. And when I'd made the decision to stop buying every course I could find, I'd be in 3 or 4 different courses at once and say, okay, I'm going to do this one course. And then when I'm finished, I'm actually going to put the things into action. That's when things started working for me, because this is an actual statistic that's in my book. 96% of courses that are purchased, business courses that are purchased, are never completed. And it's $1 billion industry. The 4% of people who complete those courses and read those books are the most successful people in the world. But all of us are so impulsive to buy stuff and we never finish it. So that would be my thing is finishing a course and putting it into action.
I love that. There is one of the key reasons there are so few that are astronomically successful.
Yep.
And I say this a lot, and I've done the same thing, Allan. I can't tell you how many courses and CD packs and going back to cassette tapes. I've done that.
Mm-hmm.
All these courses I bought, I'm excited to get home, and I end up putting them on a bookshelf. And I say, I'll get to it. And I'll get to it. And then the next day comes and I got things to do. Oh, I see it there. I'll get to it. And then suddenly I've forgotten about it. Mm-hmm. So I like to say, so a lot of those would be like self-help type tapes and things like that. Mm-hmm. And I would say, you don't want your self-help that you purchased to become shelf help. I
like that. That's a good one. I like that.
But it's so true. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the middle of crafting a webinar that I learned how to do from an incredible guru expert that very few people have ever heard of. There's a long story behind that. And I got 90% done. And then another thing came in that looked even better. And so I shifted and pivoted. The cool thing is I was able to later integrate what I learned on that webinar and complete it and use it literally yesterday at last.
Wow.
It was like, I did it. I completed it. It was phenomenal. Hey, we got a couple people chiming in. Jason Ness saying, woot, woot.
There we go.
Yeah, Glenn, hello, Toya. How are you doing? She's
Hi,
another
Toya.
And with Jason again, state, yes, wait, there's more. Yes. Yeah, and we do appreciate and love comments. So keep them coming. If you have questions for Allan, maybe you've seen the little ticker going across the bottom that says that. Yeah, ask questions either of Allan or myself, but mostly Allan. We're here for him. He's the genius of the hour by far. And don't forget, stay until the end because we're going to give away a phenomenal 5-night vacation stay.
And something from me, too.
And that's
3
right.
things from me. That's right. Yeah.
Woo, 3 things. So that's 4 unbelievable, amazing, tremendous, and stupendous prizes and giveaways. And you know what? That's not even the real juice of everything here. It's what this guy's saying and has been saying since we went on a little over 30 minutes ago. And that is what you want to really hone in on. Listen to it. This is recorded. You can play this over and over. I recommend you do that. I liken this show, Allan, and I'd like your opinion on it. I mean, you've been on it for just a short period of time. You've had a friend that's been on it. But I liken this show to something like a seminar where you would pay money to go to and learn the tips, tricks, and secrets that help you get to that next step. It's like a seminar with one caveat. There's nothing for sale. There's no back of the room. Usually. I don't usually have things for sale. Sometimes a guest will come on that was so compelling and say, tell me what you got to sell. No. But so I like that. Let people know, this is a free show to view, and I've contemplated making it charging for it. And I said, no, those that really want the information will come and grab it, and they will take it and run with it, I hope. So write down everything this man's saying. That's Allan Langer. And don't just write it down and put it on your shelf in a notebook. Then look at it, review it the next day, the following day. Put it in your calendar like Allan Langer does.
Put it in your calendar.
To-do list. Put it on your to-do list. Put it in your calendar. Make a commitment to it and get it done. Get it done. So a couple of action steps, just in case you need help. One would be go look at your LinkedIn profile. Is it about you or is it about them? And remember the super powerful juice behind the words you and your. Put those in throughout your description. And your website. Does it match the 3 criteria within, what was it, 7 or 8 seconds of someone going to your website? Will they know what is it you're selling? Will they know how they can get it? And will they know how it could make your life better or their life better?
Yep.
So there you go. You've already got homework. So I hope you guys are getting it down. And I'll be reaching back out to each one of you. Now they're afraid to comment. Yes. Yeah, and Jason, perfectly. I so agree. Always keep a notebook handy when listening. Oh, to you and your guests. I didn't read the last part. But yeah, I keep this bad boy. So this is called the Remarkable 2, and it is remarkable.
Oh,
And
I've heard about that. Is it good?
Yeah, electronic notepad. It's not a computer. It's amazing. I've got hundreds of pages of notes on this little thin electronic gizmo. And every show I've done, since I got this thing, I write my notes on it. I used to print out the pieces of paper and write notes for every show. But yes. Oh, Gene Bernier. Is that how we say that? There are a lot of knowledge bombs dropping here today. Great conversation.
Thanks, Gene.
You know what? I think what Gene is asking for is to see something. Maybe something like this. I mean, come on. We were led into it. So
you like that, don't you?
I do. I really do. I'm just a kid at heart. I love cartoons. And so now we talked about, what were some of the biggest mistakes or hurdles. Now let's switch that. Let's flip it all the way around. And, when it comes to being successful, a lot of that is, when we feel successful, a lot of that is due to what emotions are going through our mind at that moment, right? We are emotional beings. And so if you can think about one time in your business where, oh my gosh, that just happened. That was phenomenal. That was like, oh, I finally got there. Whatever it was for you. What would you say to date? Because there'll be more. What has been what you would call the most satisfying moment in your business to date?
Well, I'm gonna mention 2 of them because my career has gone from full-time salesperson to now full-time entrepreneur. And each one of them has had that one moment. But what's unique is they kind of blended together because the one moment that I had when I was a salesperson led for me to be the entrepreneur. So the salesperson moment was when I decided to write my book. So I was selling windows and doors. I think most people know that. I was in-home selling. And the company I was working for, I was their number one rep for many, many years. But the year previous, the year that I was in, I think it was 2016 or 17, I finished second or third place. I didn't finish first. And for me, it was still a good volume, but for me, I was just awful. And I had a bad personal year and it was just, things were awful. So it was January 3rd of 2018. I go into this brand new coffee shop in my hometown and I'm walking up to the counter and I'm just feeling lousy. I'm just like, man, what a terrible year. And on the counter, the woman who owns this coffee shop named Shannon, amazing woman, had this box of cards and they were called cue cards. They were black cards with a big Q on it. And under the Q was a prompt question like, what was the nicest thing you've done last week? Or when did you last call your mother? Or stuff like that. So I reach into this box of about 300 cards and I pull one out and I look at it. You know what it said? It said, what would you like your legacy to be? And that punched me in the stomach because I knew right there that, one, I was a writer at heart and I had this sales book in my head for years. I had outlined it. I had started, I stopped, I started, I stopped. And I realized right there that my legacy, I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to get this book done and I wanted to start some sort of teaching. So I made the decision after I got that card. I called my boss and I told him, I'm not running any morning appointments for the entire year. He almost fell off his chair. He said, that's 1/3 less income for you and 1/3 less income for us. And it was a lot of income. I said, I don't care. I need to do this. I need to schedule my mornings to write my book. So I started writing my book on January 3rd of 2018, every single morning in that coffee shop. And I finished it on May 31st of that year. And when I finished that book, when I typed that last sentence, I can say this. I'm a Cancer. I'm a vulnerable guy. I went into my car and I sat in my truck and I cried because for all my life I wanted to write a book, and I finally finished my book. And here's the thing, that the culmination of that entire year I ran, I think it was 164 less appointments than I ran the year before. And I sold $500,000 more in revenue. And I was named the National Sales Rep of the Year, running 33% less appointments than anyone else. And it just opened up my whole world of sales is not about numbers. Sales is not about quotas and volume and just beating people over the head. Sales is about feeling good about yourself and helping your customers. And when you do that, more is less. Less is more. You just become so much more successful because you're much more of a happier person. So that would be my story.
I can't resist. I can't. I mean,
you got to get a different color plane or something every now and then.
It is one golden nugget. That's actually a good idea. It's one golden nugget after another. Maybe we'll put up a poll. What other color of planes would you all like? I mean, bombs are typically black. Most of them. Yeah. Wow. I mean, everything you said is just unbelievable. I love the fact that, you made that commitment. I think it triggered something in the brain. And I hear this so many times where some people won't work. They'll stop working 40 or 60 or 80 hours a week and start paring it down. And suddenly they become more successful. Mm-hmm. You think, why is that? Well, they're not as strained and stressed. There's a lot of reasons, I'm sure. They're more focused on what they're working on at that moment. And maybe it was just because you decided to make a commitment to something that you have never done before.
I also know for a fact that this is just what I believe, that when you're in your happy place, when you finally find that place that your soul and your heart is happy, you're just going to attract good things, and good things are going to happen to you. And when I write, like I said, I'm a writer at heart. Good things happen to me. I'm just in a better mood. I'm not stressed. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And trust me, I'm not saying writing is like, milk and honey every day. There are some really tough days, but it's still what I love to do. And what I also love to do is teach and train. And obviously I became really good at selling. And so now it was taking my writing love and saying, well, let me figure out what I'm doing here that makes me so successful in sales and put it in a book. And so I brought the two together. And that's why I'm convinced that year was so good for me, because it just was, I was in the right place electromagnetically, mentally, physically, emotionally, everything.
I so agree with this. It's such great alignment with it. Literally just a couple of days ago, I was in one of those not so happy places due to an interaction that just threw me. One of those I didn't expect it, like bam, and threw me, and it affected me for the rest of that day and half of the next. And I didn't want it to, but it did. It's nothing, it's just, you are who you are. And what happened then that evening was everything turned around. I had one of the greatest things happen in quite some time, and it just changed everything. And that was literally yesterday.
Oh, and good for you.
The cool thing was, so it was a very short period of being in a bad space, very short, a day, maybe less than a full day from end to end, and then back to being me, which I like that much better, happy and go lucky and just crushing it. And then I remember walking around today and I'm talking to my wife and saying, it feels like it's Friday today, not like there's any days, but it's like, it feels free. It feels like a weekend. And I go, and it's show night. Tonight is show night. And that's usually like you were saying, you dedicate your mind to the show on that night, the podcast, whatever it happens to be. And I thought, I don't feel that at all right now. I feel I'm so happy and I just feel so free. And I looked at my to-do list that I told you I had earlier. I had a lot left to do. It wasn't bothering me. I was in that space. I totally get what you're saying, because now you're free to crush it on anything you have left to do. You're free to crush it when you're talking to other people and your relationships, building them with business, your personal, everything. Mindset is so key. That's why the first word of this show right up there is mind. So completely, totally agree. doing a time check. We're getting there. My goodness, I don't like to get this this close. That a good, powerful question is: so you've had a lot of success. You're doing things now that you like to do that maybe you weren't in the beginning. So I guess if you were to change things up, if you were to start over from scratch, if you got the opportunity and said, Allan, I'm going to give you a big old reset button, you get to start over, what would you do different than you've done already in your career if you were able to start all over again?
I would, if I had to start over again. So I didn't start my career in sales. I started in my career in marketing and fundraising for college athletics, which I absolutely loved. But there's no money in it. And so you can love something for a long time, but if you're not making any money, it does become a little difficult. So I would say to the people out there who don't consider sales a career, and for some ridiculous reason, it's still not considered, like you don't find it as a viable career that people talk about around the dinner table. It's almost like a 4-letter word. I'm not going to talk about sales. Yeah. But if I tell my son this, he's 20. I'm like, get into sales early, because even if you spend 10 years figuring it out, you're only 30. And then when you start to kill it, you can make a lot of money. But more importantly, because it's not about money, if you get into something that you really love to sell, you're helping people. And there's no better joy in the world than helping someone, having them just love that you help them, and then getting compensated for it. I mean, what's better than that? The worst thing you can do is put some wool over someone's eyes or do something underhanded and sell something, and then you collect the commission check. I don't know how people sleep at night doing that. But if you actually genuinely help somebody with their problem and you happen to sell that product, man, that just jazzes me up. And I'm like, I would have done that for free, and I'm going to get paid for this. That's crazy to me. So yeah, I would have started this in sales at 20 years old instead of when I did, 30 years.
I think that's incredible advice to everyone. And back then, I can go back and know that even if I knew everything I knew today and I could do that and restart at 20, oh yeah, all day. But starting over and be the way I was, would I trust myself to take that leap? I hated rejection, and most humans do. But I just could not stand it in any way, shape, or form. So that was tough. But that is phenomenal advice. And the only way to get used to rejection is to do it, is to just do it and do it over and over. And then you will be okay with it after you get past the first 500 calls.
Right. And the problem with rejection is it's looked at very negatively. And you get rejection and you get objections because of what you're doing with the customer. I have in the bio you read that, the art of inherent human behavior. Human beings act a certain way. We're tribe animals. Our brains act a certain way. There's chemicals in the brain that are going to react. And they said no to you for some reason along the way. And it's usually because you followed a sales pitch and you didn't listen to them. For the most part, that's usually the reason. But even if you did everything and there's a great rapport and they said no, that just means they're not ready to buy at that time. It's okay. There's stages to the buying process that reps don't understand either. They think everybody's ready to buy when they talk to them, and that's not true. So right. You just have to understand that you're there. How can I help you? Are you ready to buy yet? If not, how can I help you get to that point? And then you become their ally rather than their adversary, because people look at salespeople as enemies, really.
Yeah, and there's a really great book on that whole topic, and I wanted to pull it up real quick, and I want to get to your business as well. And that's called Go for No, and it's Richard Fenton and Andrea Waltz. Andrea was on this show some time ago, and we had a nice chat about that. But that would be a great read for anyone that has that trepidation about doing sales and getting those no's. That's another good resource. Not everybody agrees with the approach, but it's at least it is an approach. And if you use it, I think you can get a lot farther faster than normal. But what I want to do is talk more about the 7 Secrets Center for Sales and Marketing. And I want to find out from you, Allan, what type of people, business people, at what level are they in their business that you and your business deal with, your organization? Who do you work with? Who do you help, and how?
It really is. If you sell something, I can help you make yourself better. But I have been working with small businesses up to very large corporations and training their teams. But because of COVID and the absence of going in-person training, I ended up the last year or so training quite a few individuals, doing 8 to 12 session coaching sessions, not only about sales and sales calls and how they do things, but really setting up their business. How do you fix your LinkedIn profile, fix your website? Because it's when I came up with the 7 Secrets Center for Sales and Marketing, I did that because sales is not on an island. A lot of people think sales training is just come in here and teach us how to sell. And my first question is, sell what? And then my second question is, how did your customer get in front of the salesperson? Because that's a journey that most sales reps don't pay attention to. The marketing that got them to the sales door, once they open the door, is your language in your sales presentation going to match the marketing language that got them there? Is this go for no sales program, or is this challenger sales program? There's so many different sales programs out there. They're almost like one size fits all. It doesn't matter what you sell, just do this and you'll sell better. And I don't agree with that. I think it has to be customized to your business, to your product, and to how the marketing got that person there. So that's why I put them two together, because they have to coexist for you to be successful.
And I was going to ask a question, and as your website is scrolling up, I just got the answer. The steps to improving your sales are right there on the screen in order. Is basically schedule a conversation with Allan and his team. And then from there, implement the 7 Secrets sales system.
But do you see what it says right under there? After a thorough evaluation of your existing sales process, I'll create a customized plan based on the 7 secrets. So it doesn't say, I'm just going to teach you the 7 secrets. I'm going to look at your whole process. And what I normally discover is, okay, well, you're having trouble with this sale because the website's not explaining things properly. So the customer's not set up for that conversation. So I find all of these things, and then we kind of fix it all together at once. And then I'll train you really well on how to sell that particular widget.
That's what I love. Is it's customized. It's specific
customized,
to one's personal situation, their business, what they're selling, and everything that goes with it, the marketing assets. Increase your sales and feel better doing it. Use story, oh yes, using story, emotions, personal connection. Yeah, and that's another thing that I notice a lot of people miss the mark on, is they just want to talk about the benefits and features of the product rather than the actual emotions that are evoked by the product being used by people successful,ly as an example, or not using the product and how that adversely affects their emotions is another way to go at it. And sell with integrity, increase your sales. And feel proud. And you don't feel like a used car salesman. You're, it's my opinion is, if you have something that helps people, that helps serve and help individuals, it's your responsibility to get it out there to those people. It's your responsibility to exchange their money for your value. It's your responsibility, because if it truly helps people, holding it to yourself and not doing everything you can to become the best salesperson you can be by going to Allan Langer and having that discussion, schedule a conversation. How do you do that? That's clear. I saw that clear at the top. There's buttons throughout. Schedule a conversation right there. Just click on it. What can someone expect when they do that, Allan? When they get schedule a conversation, how's that conversation go?
It pretty much goes, like what I was just mentioning. I want to talk about, first, I want to find out what they're struggling with. And it's usually something pretty specific, like I have trouble presenting my price, or I don't know how to write a proposal, or I'm only closing 20%, or things like that. You start to peel back the onion from there and let them just kind of tell you why they're having a conversation. Why did they schedule the conversation? Sometimes I'll get a call from a VP of sales or a sales manager saying, tell me about your program. And they're surprised when I say what I just told you, because they're expecting, okay, I'm going to teach you A, B, C, D, and E, and your guys are all going to sell better. I'm like, no, I'm going to gonna crack this back all the way to the marketing side, to the website side, and then see everything going forward. And they like it because it's kind of unique because it is customized. So that's the conversation they'll have with me is let's take a look at what you're struggling with. And I can get very specific. I do just pricing help, people 2 or 3 sessions on let's get your pricing straightened out. Because that's the number one question I get is how do I present my price? Every sales rep, not every sales rep, the good ones aren't. The average sales rep, every average sales rep is afraid of price. They're afraid of presenting their price all the time.
And they seem to undervalue what they're selling and put low a price tag to it. Present company included. I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
The t-shirt. And I've gotten more and more open to people telling me you should charge more. I said, okay, how much? I'll do that. All right. And it's funny. Sometimes when you make that switch, you increase the price, you make more sales.
Correct.
It's amazing because people now value it more and say, oh, there must be something to this. If it's 2,000 instead of 200,
well, here's an analogy. Let's say you needed let's say you needed a therapist and you go on Psychology Today and Brian is there at $95 an hour and Al's there at $295. Who do you think's the better therapist?
Yes, exactly.
Automatically you think me, but I only went to school for a year. You went to school for 10 years. They're still going to me because I'm charging $295.
But you're a lot smarter than me, so you're still better.
That's the human behavior side of things right there.
I love it. Yes. And so for our audio podcast listening friends, the website we're talking about is allanger.com. So that's A-L as in Allan. So short for Allan, it's Al. And then another L right after that for Langer, Langer.com. Altogether is ALLANGER.com. And that's where you can go. So go write this down and visit that after you're finished listening to your podcast. And for those of you watching live, write that down and visit it after this live show is over because we do have, we're getting to the end there, buddy. So
wow.
I did promise everyone that we were going to give away some gifts. We got a bunch. We got 4 of them. And what I like to do, Allan, is I close each and every show very similarly. And I ask a very heavy-hitting, wonderful, amazing question of each individual. And I found that the responses have been amazing. And it can get a little personal. It may take some time to think of an answer. You may get it right away, whatever the case may be. But before we do that, I did promise everyone that I would reveal, we're going to get 4 things here. So hang with us. But first one is how you can win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. Compliments of thebiginsidersecrets.com. And I'm going to put it up on the screen for you to now write this down quick because we're going to move through these fast. We're getting at the bottom of the hour. And here it is. Now you can now take out your phone and take your gaze away from the show just for a moment. That's if you're not watching on the show or on a phone. And bring up your text messaging app. And from there, what you want to do is where you would type in the name of the person you're going to text a message to. Instead of that, put in this phone number. It's 314-665-1767. Write this down quick. 314-665-1767. And then where you would type the message to that person, usually on the bottom part of your app, where you would put emojis and things like that. No emojis, just 2 words separated by a dash. And those 2 words are peak, that's P-E-A-K, dash vacation. No spaces. So that's peak dash vacation. Send that off. And what I want you to do is keep a little bit of an eye on that phone because you're going to get an automated response asking you for your email address. This is an automated system. And so once you supply your valid email address, you will then officially be entered to win. And we will announce that winner after the show this evening, once we have tallied everybody and a random drawing has been occurred through our system. So go ahead, do that right now. And then as I pull that away and bring back our amazing guest,
can I hit the button and send it in?
Oh, you know what?
I'm disqualified.
You're not. In fact, I have had guest experts. I can see you in the green room and I see them tapping away all the time. It's a random draw. It literally is random. And yes, guest experts are eligible.
All right, I'm hitting the send button. There we go. I could use a 5-night stay.
And so here's a beautiful lesson right there in its own right. Allan Langer is an action taker, right? He had already gone through and put all that stuff in. And then he showed integrity by asking, basically in his own way, asking, can I do it? And yeah, the answer was yes. If he hadn't done that, he would never been able to even venture down. He would not have been entered into this contest. He may win. He would not have
donated it to someone if I win. How's that? To a listener.
Up to you. Completely up to you. I'm not kidding. I've had guest experts win this. It's pretty fun. And then now we're moving over to your gifts, and I'll put up on the screen so you can describe those a little bit. What it is you're offering to the fine folks of this show who are watching.
Well, not as exciting as a 5-night vacation, but I'm going to take what I normally do at the end of a guest appearance is I usually do the first 3 emails I get from anyone listening will get a free signed copy of my book mailed to you for free. So we'll do that for the first 2 people. But then the third email I get, sort of like the old radio days, the 10th caller, third email I get in that order, we'll get a free 1-hour consultation, sales consultation, business consultation with me, whatever you want. So get those emails to me and let me send some books and give out a free consultation. And there it is, Allan at allanger.com. Allan is Allan, by the way. It's an unusual spelling.
I've seen it before, and I've seen a single L and AN as well. Yeah, that's right. So it's Allan, ALLAN, at allanger.com. So
yeah, Allan Langer was taken, unfortunately.
Of course, right?
AllanLanger.com was taken by a rugby player in Australia, believe it or not.
It's funny. Mine was taken, Brian Kelly, by a musician, a pianist, and I'm like, man, come on, who are you? That's all right. So I just jammed my middle initial in there, and that one was available. So whatever.
There you go.
But yeah, Allan at allanger.com. Third person to email him. Look, do it now. Open up your email app. Do it right now. Email him. He's not going to come back to you and give you a hard sell. You can already tell. Listen to this guy. He's here to help you. He said it. I've got it. The last 2 things I wrote down that I got from him is helping someone at the very bottom. Helping someone. That is what this man is about. That's what drives him. It's obvious. And that is what I found, Allan, which is amazing, is most entrepreneurs like yourself, successful ones that come on the show, that's what drives them. It's not money. And you've said that.
Yeah.
Look, it's okay. Money is good. I hope Allan rakes in massive boatloads of cash and becomes incredibly wealthy. And why would I wish that on him? Because I know he will take that and scale his business and help more people. That's how he's built.
That would be the plan.
You want people like Allan out there helping more people. It just makes sense. So instead of saying, oh, well, I don't want Allan to make all that money. I want to make the money. There's enough to go around. The people that have figured it out that are helping people now, kill it, crush it. Now they can come back later or right away and help you to do the same. Look, it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. But what if you could get there quicker? What if instead of taking, 10 years, you could bring that down to 3? Stuff that, what Allan is offering you can make that kind of drastic difference. I'm not saying it takes 3 years even with Allan's. It's just a metaphor. But what about reducing the amount of time by more than 50% and getting to the result, to the finish line? How much money is it costing you not to reach out to someone like Allan Langer? That's the question you want to ask yourself. So just email him, get that book. And, oh, man, I want to be so I'm going to email. That.
Don't worry. I'll send you a book. You don't have to email me.
No, I want the 1 hour. Yeah, I want them both, actually. So, yeah, definitely everyone email and put in the subject line, maybe say the Mind Body Business Show, something to let him know.
Yeah, I need to know that you came from the show. You can't just say, give me the book. Because I've been on 3 podcasts this week. So there's been other offers out there. So I'll need to know what show you came from. Okay,
good. It's good. Glad you brought that up. So yeah, put in the Mind Body Business Show in the subject line. That's good enough. And just say, pick me.
Yeah, exactly.
But it'll be just based on the sequence that comes in. It'll be the first 3 actually, right?
First 3
books and 1 hour consultation.
Correct.
All right. Fantastic. Well, we are, oh my gosh, we exceeded the time, but that's the beautiful thing. I'm not paying for studio time. We don't have to get kicked out. But I do want to respect everyone's time who's been watching, hanging on to the end. I appreciate you. I can't wait to see who the winner is for the big prize. But now it's time for that wonderful end of show question. The heavy hitter. Going to clear the screen, get it a little cleaned up, and get ready for this big question. So, Allan, the cool thing about it is there's no such thing as a wrong answer. It flat out does not exist. It's exactly the opposite. Is the only correct answer is yours. That's all that makes this personal. It's unique to you. So it's not like getting into your personal business at all. Well, maybe it depends on how you respond to it. It's up to you though. It's all up to you. And the thing is, if it takes you 5 seconds, 10 seconds, a minute to come up with the answer, that's okay. If it takes you instant, that's okay, because it's your answer. It's unique to you. So
all right.
Let all the pressure's off, and now you're going, holy moly, what the heck is he going to ask?
I've known about this question for 3 weeks now, so come on, let's get to it.
Yeah, the one that's been redacted on your sheet.
Exactly, right.
Yes, little tease there.
Yeah.
All right, so are you ready?
I'm ready. Fire.
I love it. Here we go. Allan Langer, how do you define success?
How do I define success? Success to me is finding that happy place that I spoke about earlier, finding what you truly love to do and doing it unselfishly, meaning I firmly believe that when you put yourself in that place, everything else in your life will fall into place, because the energy that you're putting out there will come back to you. So I define success as being in that place that you just know that's where you're supposed to be. When I'm behind a computer screen and I'm writing, I know that's where I'm supposed to be. I know when I'm helping someone do something that's going to make their lives better, it's where I'm supposed to be. One of the things that I live by is not only that legacy, what would you like your legacy to be question that I now have on my wall, but everyone is faced with the decision during the day in quite a few different situations, but especially in a selling situation. When you get to make that decision of, do I do something that's kind of sketchy, or do I do the right thing? Always do the right thing. Mm-hmm. Ask yourself, what is the right thing to do right here in this moment? What is it? And sometimes in sales, it's not making the sale. Sometimes in sales, it's telling that person they don't need your product rather than just selling it to make a sale. When you can get to that point in your life where you're confident and comfortable in doing that, to me, that's success. I don't need anything else.
You know it's coming.
There it is.
Oh my goodness. Allan Langer, ladies and gentlemen. He is the man that we've been interviewing all evening, dropping all kinds of wonderful smart bombs, knowledge bombs, you name it. We've got some people coming in a little later that showed up, and I have to bring him up because this is my friend Dennis Nurmela from China. He lives in China.
Awesome. Yes. Welcome, Dennis.
Yeah, he's moved to China. He's an educator there. He's loving it. It's amazing. I love watching his lives and getting updates from him. That's been phenomenal. And I wanted to real quick, I know we're out of time, but you know what? It's our time. We can do what we want. And just for people, one last time, be sure to email Allan and enter to win and get his book. And I'm going to bring it up on the screen real quick so you can get an idea. That's what it looks like. The 7 Secrets to Selling More by Selling Less. And I love it because he literally lived that very thing by taking fewer appointments for a full year. Actually, he didn't have to do it for a full year to write his book. And as a result of having fewer appointments and being more focused on writing his book and being happy, getting in that happy place that he said is his definition of success, he was able to make even more sales, just like his book says. It's funny, you were writing about it and it was happening at the same time.
Absolutely.
Isn't that amazing? Huh?
Yep.
I wonder if maybe that had something to do with it. The Ultimate Guide to Reinventing Your Sales Life is the subtitle there in the red. So be sure to email him at Allan at allanger.com. I'm trying to spell it as I'm doing it. Allan at allanger.com, and Allan is spelled 2 A's and 2 L's, and then Al Langer. So you're going to have 2 L's together on the domain name part of it as well. So be sure to do that. Please do yourself a favor, everyone who is watching this live, especially live, because it's the first 3 only. So you got to be quick. Do it now if you haven't done it already. And now we're going to close up the show by just saying how much I appreciate you for spending your time with us here tonight, Allan, for shedding your wisdom with so many people that are going to be able to take this and change their lives for better. And that's what it's all about. That's what we love, why we love to be entrepreneurs, because truly at the core of any successful entrepreneur, what I found in the almost 3 years of doing this show, that's the common denominator. They're just here to help. That's what drives them. And to get paid to do it, now they can help more people. It's amazing. So thank you, sir. I appreciate you. And,
and I want to thank you for what you're doing, because getting your guests every week is helping people. So you should be proud of what you're bringing to the world as well. So thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Allan. My gosh, it's a love fest. He's my bro now. All right. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on. This is the amazing Allan Langer. On behalf of him, I am Brian Kelly, your host of the Mind Body Business Show. And until next time, we're coming back. We'll be back very, very soon. We'll see you all again at the very next show. Until then, so long and be blessed. Take care.
Everybody.
Thank you for tuning in to the Mind Body Business Show podcast at www.themindbodybusinessshow.com. My name is Brian Kelly.